Hello. It has been so long since I have filmed a video for you guys, and I wanted to come back and give you an update. We'll do a little breathwork practice at the end, and then I am going to film you a yoga video to come after this video. But I am here, I'm alive. Hi, nice to see you all. You will see my little boy Sheriff here in the background, and there's another little boy Maverick running around. So you may hear some noises. It'll be them just, running around doing their thing. But yeah, an update time. So last time I updated you all, we had just bought a house. Life has been so busy in the past 6 months-ish to a year. So about a year ago, I kind of was having a few realizations about the fact that I didn't want to be where I was, and that I wanted to move and level up and step into this next level version of myself. And I'm like, how can I do that? So the first way to do that was to get out of the town that I was in. I grew up and have lived in a very small town for a long time, and I knew that I needed a change. So I decided to move to the city. I got myself a job, came over here. My partner was over here already. And I moved into a flat, which was just like, I had 1 bedroom in the flat, so it wasn't really conducive to filming videos. And it was also kind of winter at that point in time, and yeah, just things didn't really work out for me to get many videos filmed. So kind of went on the back burner. And then my partner and I decided to move in together. So we did a little bit of house hunting and looking, and then we ended up buying a house. So we found this beautiful home. We were so excited to move into it. The process of buying it took a couple of months because it was kind of over the Christmas period. But we finally got the keys and we're ready to move in. So we planned a weekend of moving in from Thursday night to the Sunday. I moved all my stuff in from my little room in my flat. He moved all his stuff in from his house, and we were going over to my old hometown to get the rest of my stuff. But consequently, the truck that we hired to move my stuff actually had a few issues. So we ended up returning it and not getting our money back. So we haven't been back to get my stuff as yet. It's been a couple of months. We will be doing that soon. But yeah, things have just kind of happened and got in the way. So we haven't had all my stuff here. And yeah, there's been a lot going on. Turns out it was a good thing we didn't go back anyway, because on that actual weekend, on the Sunday morning, I woke up and I was feeling pretty hot actually, like sweating and kind of unwell. I went to the toilet and I was like, afterwards, my breathing's a bit funny, so I'm not going to go back to bed yet. I'll just go to the lounge, I'll sit down and tune into my breath, figure out what's going on. I actually didn't make it to the lounge and I ended up passed out on the kitchen floor. I've never passed out before, so this was a whole new experience for me. So I wake up on the kitchen floor and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I must be just in a dream. It's all right. My partner will be there in a minute. It'll be fine. I'll wake up next to him. It'll be okay. And kind of fell back asleep. And then a couple of minutes later, I woke back up and I was like, what am I doing? Like, where am I? And I was like, I'm actually on the floor of the kitchen in my house. This mustn't be a dream, I guess. And I'm like, what am I doing on the floor? I don't know. Went back to sleep. Woke back up and I'm like, I really am on the floor of the kitchen. What's going on here? Tried to lift my arm and it didn't lift very high, and then it just flopped down, and I'm like, okay, something's going on here. I can't get up. So I started to call my partner for help, but I couldn't get my voice that loud, and he was down the other end of the house, and I was just like, kind of like, babe, help, but that's about as much as I could get. And then I fell back asleep, and then I woke up again, and I'm like, no, I'm still on the kitchen floor, still can't move, still need help. I called my partner again, and then the third time he heard me, because I managed to get my voice loud enough for him to hear. And he comes rushing down and found me on the floor, put me into the recovery position and called the ambulance. I actually couldn't hold myself up in the recovery position and fell out, and he had to put me back in there again. And then he cut my top off because he could feel how hot I was. Cut my top off and just stayed with me until the ambulance came. The ambulance came, he let them in, and he got me a top to cover me up because I was very aware that I had nothing on, and I was like, can you please just cover me up? They set me up, put my top on, and got me up and into a chair. I had a wee drink of water. I still wasn't feeling good, so they popped me into the ambulance. And as we walked to the ambulance, I was getting a little bit out of breath again, which is very bizarre for me. And as someone who is very, conscious of my breath, I'm conscious of what I put into my body, how I move my body, this was all feeling a bit weird. But, it would feel weird for anybody anyway. Anyway, I got into the ambulance. They tested my oxygen levels, and they were quite low. So they put oxygen on me just for a little bit and took me to the hospital. My partner met me there and had rung my dad, and my dad actually had decided to get in the car and come from the west coast of the South Island to the east coast where I am, just so that he could be there with us. So he came over, and as we were waiting for him in the hospital, the doctor was coming in and out. They were doing tests. They decided to give me a CT scan. So previous to this incident, I actually had a blood clot in my left arm like 3 or 4 years ago. My arm started turning blue and it was hurting a lot. It was aching. So I was like, what's going on? I need to, get that tested. And they'd found a blood clot. And I'd been on blood thinners and things for like 6 months, and it took about a year of recovery, but I managed to get it into a position where it was feeling really good again. So we did that. But because of this previous incident, the doctor was like, okay, let's maybe test you for blood clots. Let's see if you've got blood clots. So they did a CT scan, and it turns out I did have blood clots. I actually have multiple blood clots, or had multiple blood clots in my lungs. The hope is that by this point that they have broken down and it's all good. But I had multiple blood clots in my lungs, so I had a pulmonary embolism with the blood clot going into my lungs and that catching and not being able to get my breath. So they kept me in hospital overnight, bearing in mind this was the first weekend in our new home, and I didn't even get to stay there on the Sunday night, but that's okay. My dad came over, and by the next day, the doctors had come around and, they've decided that I need to be on blood thinners for the rest of my life now because this is the second incident. And yeah, it was a little bit hard to hear at first because it was just like, just as things are, like, oh, that's a bit scary that I've had a pulmonary embolism, and if the embolism had been any bigger, then I actually could have died. And it's not something that you expect to have at my age. I'm 35, and yeah, it's pretty bizarre to have had 2 blood clots at this point in time, and there's actually no reasoning around it. There's no explanation for why. I move my body, I eat well. So there is no answer as to why it's happening, but it's happening, and it's part of my life, and I had to learn to live with it. And it just took me a wee while after that to really get my breath back. I have had a couple of incidences of like feeling a bit breathless, my chest hurting, which is part of blood clots in the lungs. It is something that happens. So it's been a little bit of a recovery. It happens kind of on and off every now and again. But like I say, I'm on blood thinners now and getting it sorted, and yeah, and doing everything that I can to make sure it doesn't happen again. Just, really again, focusing on the nutrition and making sure that I move, wearing compression socks where I can as well. So yeah, that's what's happened. So that took up, a wee bit of time to adjust to that, to get better from that. Hence no videos. So yeah, we've just been working through things, working through the health, working through the moving in. We're still moving in. We've still got things to do. But yeah, I am very excited to be back here with you and being able to share things like breath work and yoga again, because these are things I'm passionate about and that I love to share. So anyway, thanks for listening to what's been going on. Oh yeah, and obviously also we adopted 2 kittens, so they have been adjusting to home life as well, so that's also been something that's been going on. But yeah, here we are, and we're in a position now where I can film something, and yeah, I think I want to share also some more recipes and things with you guys, so I'll be doing a bit more of that as well, hopefully. We've been doing our kitchen up, but it's getting to a point where it's, you know, practical and workable, so look forward to sharing some things with you. Alrighty, but from here, let's focus in on the breath and do a breath awareness exercise. So what you're going to do is we're just going to find ourselves in a comfortable position, wherever that may be for you. Might be seated on a chair, you might be on the floor, on a bolster, you might be laying down even. Wherever feels good for you, find a spot. And then when you've found that spot, you might choose to close down the eyes or just focus the gaze on a spot in front of you, wherever feels good for you. And then we're going to simply begin to tune into the breath. Just beginning to notice how you're breathing in your body today. So with breath awareness, there is no right or wrong. It's simply just noticing and feeling and becoming an observer of your breath. So first off, notice the portal that is allowing the breath to come in and out of your body. Are you breathing in and out through your nose or your mouth? Maybe you're breathing in through one and out the other. Just becoming aware. And then noticing how the air feels as it comes through that portal. Maybe it feels a little cool as it comes in. And then follow that breath. Follow that breath through the portal into your body as it flows through the body and comes to its space of landing. And then become aware of where in the body your breath is landing. Maybe it's into the belly. Maybe it's into the rib cage. Maybe it's into the chest. Remembering again, there's no right or wrong. It's just simply observing and noticing that breath. And while we're here, we're not trying to change the breath or alter it in any way. We're just simply noticing it. Noticing how the body moves as you breathe. As you inhale, the body may rise, and as you exhale, it may fall and constrict in a little bit more. And then on your exhale, follow that breath as it leaves your body. And notice the feeling of the air on the way out. Maybe it's a little warmer than on the way in. simply watching and noticing and becoming aware of your breath. We're not trying to change it at all. We're just observing it. Sitting with the breath and getting to know how it's moving you today, how it's moving through you today, how it feels today. Because not all days or moments in time are going to be the same. The breath will ebb and flow and change as you move, as you do, as you breathe, as you live. So just becoming aware of it in this moment, right here, right now. And we're just going to sit with the breath for another minute or so. Getting to know your own breath. Noticing if it's changed at all from when we first began to now in this moment. Then releasing the watching of the breath, beginning to come back into your space. Maybe gently moving through the fingers and the toes. And if you close down your eyes, maybe opening them up and finding yourself back into your room. I am so much more passionate. Like I was always passionate about the breath, but even more so since my blood clot. Because when we get to know our breath, we can become aware of when it's not right. I knew that my breath was not right that morning. And whilst I couldn't really do anything about it in that moment, I was aware. Become aware of your own breath. Know how it moves through your body so that when it's not right, you can get the help you need. I hope you enjoyed this breathwork practice, and I look forward to now going and filming you a yoga class to upload on here as well. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.